Hello and welcome back. Today's tutorial will be going over diffusion material. In this lesson, we'll be talking and discussing all sorts of different ways to use diffusion material for your lighting needs. So let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about diffusion material. I have some very small samples here that I'm going to pick out, show you guys. Some of the three main materials that I use in a lot of different lighting applications. First of all, I use this style diffusion material. It's basically a polyethylene style sheeting, and this gives me the max diffusion. A lot of times when I need to get a lot of broad light, I use this style material. Now, another material that I use is this material. And this material is this wavy form material, and it's very thin and transparent style lighting with waves in it. And this creates a great looking pattern if you're looking for broken patterns. Another source that I use a lot of also is this material, which we call a 3D or a diamond style material. And this material also creates a very unique effect and produces some really cool lighting features if that's what you're looking for. And again, these all provide somewhat of a diffusion effect on the overall lighting. So let me go set up a little test set so you can see kind of a little bit what these materials look like under an LED lighting situation. Okay, in this lighting situation, I've dimmed down the lights here in the shop about more than half of the light capacity in here, just so you're going to get a better idea of what this material looks like when it's actually in the effect with the light itself. So I've hooked up a little test mock-up of a LED. This is just a singular LED. And what I want you to see is we're just going to put it really close to the surface, or the light surface. And this is a very close range. This is using the standard milky white diffusion material. And what I want you to notice here is right now I've got it very close to the light source, which creates kind of a pinpoint light source. As I move it farther away, you can see how it's starting to broaden out the lighting and get less spotty as you get closer to the material. So focus range makes a big difference in how you'll actually view the light feature. And this is, again, this is the milky white diffusion material. Now I'm going to switch over and show you what it looks like with the wavy material. In this case, you see it's distorted, and it's distorted in a different way. And I'm going to get really close, and you can see what it looks like really close to the source, and it almost looks like the regular LED behind there. But as I pull it farther and farther away, you can kind of get an idea of how it's changing the patterning, and creates a much softer lighting feature. And this, again, this is the wavy material. And then I'm going to show you the last material here. That this is the diamond material. And again, I'm going to go real close range where it doesn't look like much when it's sitting up there just as close as it can be. But as you pull away, again, you can see now it's starting to pick up the honeycombs inside the material. And it even looks different on from one side to the other. The patterning can tend to be changed, but again, the focal distance is very crucial when it comes to positioning the lighting and getting the effect that you're looking for. So I'm going to give one more test mock-up here of what it looks like behind some RGB strip. So let me switch gears here and show you what that looks like. Okay, so we're back with I've got a strip running. This is a RGB strip that I have running just to show the difference in what it looks like behind some diffusion material in this scenario. So now you can see as we get close, it has much more of a stronger appearance and looks, very spotty. But as we pull away, and we get farther and farther from the feature, we create more of a softer and a spread out lighting feature. This is great when you need to create this kind of look And again, I'll put it a little closer so you can see what it looks like that. And this, again, the focusing point becomes crucial. Also, angle. Angle can make a big difference between if it's going to be up at a 90 or if it's going to be laid down at a 45. This also can create a unique feature. So this is with the milky white diffusion material. And now I'm going to bring in, this is the 3D material, or the wave material, I'm sorry. And again, in this scenario, you can see where we'll get up a little close and you can, it doesn't look as distorted, but as we pull back and as we get a little farther away from the light source, it creates this amazing looking feature. And, again, distance, color, and, where we have our focal point is makes all the difference when you're trying to adjust for diffusion material and to make it look scaled. Then the final material, we'll put the diamond material. And this, again, this material creates kind of a different look or feature. And it's not as prominent as the other two. The other two really create a really more of a prismatic look. But again, this is, if you're looking for this feature, this can also create a really dynamic feature or a softer feature if that's what you're after for your project. And again, I'll flip this over and it looks a little different on the one side. Kind of gives a different range, but that's basically how this material operates, and kind of a good idea. This gives you a good idea of what you can actually do with it as far as the look goes. And again, I can't stress it enough that being focused in or out makes all the difference in the world when it comes to these kind of features. So let's do a little wrap up on this, but that is basically the this is how you use this material and how to create really cool effects. Okay, and a few closing thoughts on diffusion material that I want to just highlight on. First of all, a lot of people ask me is this material is how to actually trim it to fit. And this is a great question that's been asked many a times. And basically, most of the time, 99% of the time, this material can be trimmed with just a pair of scissors. The wavy material is a little bit harder and a little bit, it's a little harder to cut. But this material can be used easily, and I'm just going to show you, is basically I'm just going to cut into it a little bit, and I'll cut an odd shape just out of the blue so we can kind of get an idea. And again, this material is a little bit harder to trim than others. And see, so it's relatively workable right through, just using a standard set of good, set of scissors can cut through this stuff. The one hang up on this material is, since it is kind of an exotic material, tends to not like to be glued very well. So if you try to use like CA or any other kind of glues, it's kind of, it doesn't really like it. It can bond to hot glue, and that's usually what I use. But I tend to like to use hot glue, and I usually use some kind of tape, either a good double-sided tape or even a single-sided heavy-duty tape, in order to mount the material down and get it into a permanent position. And then same also goes, this material, like the diamond material, this lighter weight stuff, this stuff's very thin and super easy to cut. And this stuff you can cut in all sorts of very odd shapes and forms, and I'll cut out a little piece. But this material cuts very easily, both in the wavy and in the diamond material. They both are very easily. But again, they don't like to be glued with certain glues. CA. You can also use silicone. Clear silicone will hold it, but it's kind of a little temperamental with silicone because you have to wait so long for it to dry. But it can be used. And then again, the wavy material, same thing, super lightweight, super thin, and this stuff also is easily cuttable. And I'll just cut another little pattern just to let you guys see how it is. And then You can trace on this stuff too. It's really easy to be traced on. But, you know, there you go. So cutting patterns and shapes out of it to fit behind your lightable areas, this stuff really does work good. So I think this will pretty much conclude the diffusion material tutorial. And we'll be seeing you again. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.